So hey, Frank Paris here. A couple of people were asking me today on Facebook, in Messenger, what was the thing that I was working on. The other day I posted a picture of this guy right here, and I had a little clamp down and I was doing some work on it, and people wanted to know what it was. And I used the sentence, "What the heck is Frank Paris working on now?" Well, I'm always working. I'm always building something for somebody, or custom building some of my props and adding gadgets and doohickeys on props that I buy from other people, from other vendors. And this is basically, I'll take the cards off so you can see. This is a collector's workshop. Collector's workshop. You see that collector's workshop label in there. The collector's workshop, or Viking. Well, it's not Viking. It was the original collector's workshop pocket card fountain, and you wore this in your jacket, your vest, your handkerchief jacket that you used to put your handkerchief in your sports jacket or in your suit. So magicians would walk around and do a forced card and maybe get the card wrong, and then later on in the show there was a little button, a little red button back here that you pushed, and when you hit that button through the jacket, all the cards would fly up in the air that you had in there in the card fountain, and the last card would be the one that was their card. So now let me just put this in here so you can see. Now what I was doing was I was making modifications to it so that it would work with a transmitter right here, this little transmitter here, and a receiver, which is wire tight here, right here. This is the receiver, and this originally worked with a 6-volt flat Polaroid battery. And of course Polaroid said, well, we're going to be around forever, so the batteries will be around forever. Well, obviously that's not the case today. Polaroid's still in business, but today the Polaroid cameras are kind of high-tech digital cameras. You can literally print out from the camera the picture that you've taken. So the Polaroid flat battery would go on the back here, where this is right now. This 9-volt battery is now, and the receiver is now. So I just repurposed it. I figured, this is something that I can repurpose it, and I can actually stick this on. I mean, if this was if this was a piece of metal, a nice flat piece of metal that I had Velcroed on the back of one of my props, because there's a 9-volt battery here, it would stick to it. So I mean, basically, that's what I would do with this. I wouldn't use it in my pocket anymore. But what happens, when you force the card and you get the card wrong later on in your show, or you walk around, whatever, because there is now a transmitter receiver, you've got this transmitter in your pocket. So then when you hit the button, what happens is let's just make sure this works now. I made an earlier video and it wasn't set correctly. The rubber band wasn't set correctly, but now if I hit the button, you can see that the cards shoot up, and there's one card. This would be the force card. So how does that stay there and all the other cards shoot up? Well, that's you could do this with any card fountain, by the way. You could buy a cheap Chinese card fountain. You could have something on the back of one of your props, and you're doing your show and you force a card and nothing happens, and then somehow you hit the transmitter on this guy and cards shoot up from the back of your prop, and the last card is the force card. Now what makes that work like that, where you shoot the cards up, is that let me just try to get this off here. There's a piece of white Velcro on the back of that force card. You can see that right there. It's the female part of the Velcro. That's the way I do it. And then on the back of the card fountain, you would have the male black Velcro on that, so that when you hit the button, all of the cards are going to shoot up. Okay, you hit the button, all of the cards will shoot up. By the way, you don't see this 10. This is hidden. It would be, it would be below whatever prop you Velcroed this onto. I didn't Velcro it. I just put a magnet on the back here. I double sticked it to one of those double stick circles you can buy on Amazon. You buy a package of them, and you can double stick a magnet to it, or you can even use Velcro. The battery itself is Velcroed on there, and then I just double stick. This is a rechargeable battery, by the way. And then I just double stick the very powerful rare earth magnet on the back, so that this could, if you had a magnetic plate that you had Velcroed on the back of one of your props, you could just stick this to it below the line where the prop, the reveal is. And then when you hit the button, it would reveal the card. And if you can see how this works from this side here, see that? So that's how that works. The Velcro actually stops the card from moving up, and so that's basically how this works. It'll do that. Now again, this used to work off 6 volts, the Polaroid 6-volt flat battery pack. Now I've got 9 volts here, so the cards are going to shoot up a little bit better. But the motor compensates for the 9 volts because there's a range on most motors that go from, say, whatever voltage low to a voltage high. So if you do add a little bit of a bigger battery, you're not going to destroy whatever, to burn out the motor that you have. I mean, obviously, if you're going to put a 48-volt battery on this thing, you're going to destroy the motor. You're going to burn out the motor. Well, then again, maybe you won't. I mean, depending on if you have a fuse, you don't have a fuse. But that's electronic talk. I don't want to get into that. So basically, with any card fountain that you have, if you decided you wanted to mount it on the back of something, okay, and then maybe using Velcro, I use this heavy-duty stuff. I don't know if you can see it. That's the real heavy-duty stuff that you buy on Amazon or at the Staples or something. It's expensive, but I buy it by the roll because I use a lot of this with a lot of my stuff. And this is not a pretty sight. I mean, this is not something that, the audience is going to see. This is something that you're using, if you've been a performer as many years as I have, and you were to go on stage, and I've been backstage and a lot of magicians shows after the show, I go and I say hello, or I buy them a cup of coffee or whatever. We talk about magic, that kind of thing. Especially the cruise ship magicians. They're a very lonely bunch. I mean, my wife and I like to go on cruises, and every once in a while I'll see a show and there's a magician in it, and I'll buy him dinner or lunch or something like that. And we'll talk magic all night. But for the most part, a lot of this stuff you do not see backstage. I won't mention this one cruise ship magician that I know. His props are put together with Scotch tape and rubber bands, okay? And from the edge of the stage to the back of the audience, the last row, it looks like a miracle. It looks beautiful. But if you looked at we have a visitor, my cat. If you looked at the actual props themselves, there's a lot of wear and tear put on the props. I try to keep my props as nice and neat as possible, okay? I've got repair projects behind me that I've got to fix, but for the most part, a lot of the props that I buy, that I use, or that I build, I keep neat and I keep nice, and I polish them, and I double charge. If it's electronic, I will charge them. Every couple of months, I'll go and I'll go through my inventory of all the props that I use in shows, and I use to walk around and whatever, and I will make sure that they're all still working. And if they need to be repaired or replaced, then I repair and replace them. So, but basically, this is the thing I was working on that I had mounted on my one of my workshop benches, and the people said, "Well, what is that? What are you doing with that?" It's an old Collector's Workshop pocket card fountain. If you ever find one on eBay or something, and you want me to make some modifications for you, I'll do it for you. That's all. Just give me a call, and we'll make one up for that to look like this. And again, this is a magnet. I don't have a space here that I can show you. Maybe I could do it here. Let's just see. Okay, so now I've just mounted that. Let me show you where I've mounted that. mounted that on a, let's get this camera to come down, and you can see it's magnetically mounted, okay, on the back of this unit right there. And you can see that the unit is staying on there. So if I were to hit the button, all the cards would shoot up, and that would be one that didn't, you wouldn't see it. Again, this would be lower. I mean, it's pretty, you know, so I just pulled it off the stickum, so I can't do that right now. I guess I got to find a more perfect solution to that problem. But let's get the camera back up to me, and that's basically it. So again, just a little helpful hint, an idea for your routine if you want to have a get that magnet off here and put it back on the. I got to find a more permanent solution. Maybe I'll epoxy the magnet on the back of the 9-volt battery, and then these are all rechargeable batteries, so I just recharge them. But that's basically it. I mean, it's the pocket, Collector's Workshop pocket card fountain repurposed with a transmitter and a receiver, and that's it. So Frank Paris, over and out. Thank you for watching. Hope some of the ideas I give on some of these videos are going to be helpful to you. Thank you very much.